With 1:55 left to go in the fourth quarter, Cleveland running back Kareem Hunt scored a touchdown against the New York Jets, putting his team up 30-17 with an extra point attempt on the way. 2 minutes later, Joe Flacco would be kneeling and watching the clock expire, celebrating one of the most improbable wins in NFL history. Well, what the hell happened? Let's look at the impossible math behind this massive collapse and see just how the Browns choked this one away. And that's coming up right after this. Summer is coming to an end, and that means your body is going to want to store a little more padding for the winter. But forget that noise. You want to use this time to get in shape and eat healthy so that when summer does come back, the ladies swoon. With Factor, healthy meals are delivered right to your door with no prep and no mess. Plus, they cut out stressful meal planning and extensive preparation. I just said no prep. So you can stay on the go and have more time to head to the gym. Factor supports wholesome eating and has ready-to-go meals that fit any diet. Keto, Calorie Smart, Chef's Choice, vegan or veggie, it's all here and all easy. I love how all the meals are served hot and ready and absolutely delicious. No joke. So after this video, head to go.factor75.com/5points130 and use code 5points130 to get $130 off across 6 Factor boxes. Again, that's go.factor75.com/5points130 from the link below and use code 5points130 and get $130 off across 6 Factor boxes. Part 1. How did we get here? For the most part, this game was pretty standard for what you would expect from a Jacoby Brissett-led team facing a Joe Flacco-led team. Nick Chubb was a monster as the Browns controlled the ball on the ground. But every time the Brownies seemed to take control, the Jets would answer back. Garrett Wilson, remember him for later, scored a TD. Amari Cooper answered. The teams traded field goals until Nick Chubb basically took over. He scored a TD with 9:21 left in the fourth quarter, putting the Browns up 24-17. And after forcing the Jets to a 3-and-out, the Browns' win probability jumped to over 90% for the first time of the day. It would get even better in a few minutes. With 2:30 left in the game, the Browns had exactly what they wanted. The ball in the Jets' territory with a 7-point lead and time running out. But despite the positive outcome of this drive, the Browns would end up screwing themselves. Here come the big mistakes. Part 2. Losing by winning. Win probability charts are subjective. Yes, they add up the math and probabilities, but they simply cannot take into account what's going through a player's head when they have the ball, or what choices a coach is going to make. The Browns absolutely do the right thing by giving the ball to Kareem Hunt here, but he is tackled for no gain. That causes the Jets to burn timeout number 1. They hand it to Hunt again, timeout number 2. And this next play would be huge. Kareem Hunt gains a first down on a short pass to the New York 28, but is pushed out of bounds. It would be easy to blame Hunt here for not keeping the clock moving, but as luck would have it, he was cornered and unable to get back into the field of play. One of the biggest keys to winning an NFL game is to get your opponent to eradicate their timeouts, but this seemed like no big deal. First and 10 with 2:15 left, Hunt got another handoff and burned that last Jets timeout. But still, with all these advantages for the Browns, they had some really bad luck. There was the 2-minute warning still to come, and they were on the 12-yard line. This meant that the clock would stop no matter what the outcome of the next play. It was decision time. The Browns could have done a halfback dive or even kneel and gotten to the 2-minute warning, then replicated that and kicked a 30-yard field goal with 1:15 left. The Jets would have had no timeouts, down 2 scores. Highly improbable odds, as you will see. They could have also just gotten another first down and the game would have been over. Instead, they did the worst thing possible. Scored a touchdown? Again, by circumstance, things really worked against the Browns. The ball being on the 12 meant a very small window for a player to get down if he found himself passing the line to gain. And as stated before, the clock was going to stop no matter what. But still, Nick Chubb did what any football player who has legions of fans rooting for them in fantasy would do. He scored the damn touchdown. It was at this point the Browns had a 99.9% chance of winning the game. Now let's find out how they f***ed this up. Part 3. Epic choke. Now here's where both bad luck and bad decision making comes in. Like I said before, the Browns had options when they had the ball. Kneel, run, score, or not score. Now, there was just one thing to do, kick the extra point, something that even shitty kickers make 90% of the time. Oh, okay, misses happen. That's fine, they're up 13 with 1:55 to go and the Jets don't have any timeouts. What's the worst thing that could happen? This, a two-play drive, and letting the Jets gain 66 yards and the TD in one play? Unacceptable. Let's look at the play art and see if there is an explanation. So, Kevin Stefanski isn't a complete moron. They come out in a dime and rush 4, though that decision could be questioned. However, what Grant Delpit and Denzel Ward do on this play is absolutely mind-boggling. The Jets run a basic concept, 2 go routes on the outside and a post route in the middle. On the left, the Browns defended beautifully. Martin Emerson stays over top Elijah Moore, and Green stays at home in case Joe Flacco does one of his patented checkdowns. The middle is also defended well, but unnecessarily well. 3 defenders take on Garrett Wilson, but if you are the Browns and you want to give up something, this is where you would want it to be. 3 is overkill. On the right side, though, is the horrific defense that allows this bullshit to happen. As Delpit is sucked into the middle, Denzel Ward inexplicably lets Corey Davis behind him. It was like he was never assigned to him or didn't see him. I can't imagine Ward thought he had help from Delpit, who was 12 yards away. When Flacco throws the ball, Davis is already 3 yards behind Ward. And when he catches it, that distance is now 11 yards. Davis could have army crawled into the end zone from the 10. I don't have the exact number, but the win probability chart suggests a 66-yard TD happening there was less than 1 in 100 happening. This was on Ward, and he messed up big time. However, no big deal. The Jets still have to recover an onside kick, which has a less than 10% success rate. Win probability is still 81.3%, Browns? So you're telling me that the Browns missed an extra point, allowed a 2-play scoring drive, and then allowed an onside kick? If the recovery rate for onsides is 8%, the odds of all 3 of these independent events happening is 0.008%, basically 1 in 10,000 odds. But here we are, and it's time to complete the choke. Part 4, the nail. So now after the recovery and letting the Jets run an insane 8 plays and only burn 45 seconds of clock, Gang Green is on the Cleveland 15. And once again, Cleveland makes a bad decision. This time they come out in a nickel with linebacker JOK to drop back into coverage. The Browns once again choose to rush 4, even sending Myles Garrett in to fire off the edge. Flacco reads this immediately and eats this coverage alive and delivers a perfect strike to guess who? Garrett Wilson. The comeback is complete. The Jets had odds lower than 0.001% at times and still just tied and took the lead of the game because their kicker didn't miss the extra point. Even more insulting, the Browns could have mustered an equally improbable comeback of their own if they could get into field goal range, except Jacoby Brissett threw a pick. Honestly, the odds at this point are unfathomable. 5 to 6 different events, all with less than a 10% probability of happening? It's like 1 in a billion. And it happened to the Browns because they deserve it. Karma is a bitch.
You know, the Browns, we dapping each other up. 2-0, throwing all the signs up, same old Browns, man. They go on defense. Denzel, you, 2-1. Ohio born product. Yeah, lackadaisical out there thinking the game over. Let 8-4 run right down the field on the 9 router. Go! Everybody seen them clear wide open.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, and if you made it this far, you might as well subscribe. I'm 5 Points Vids, and you made it to my next video.